mitigation, mitigation, mitigation. So, you want to learn about the word mitigation, right? Well, let's get started. Mitigation is a noun, which means it refers to a person, place, thing, or idea. In common usage, mitigation usually refers to the act of making something less severe, unpleasant, or serious. For example, if you're involved in a traffic accident, you might want to mitigate the damage by paying for repairs or apologizing to the other driver. You can also use mitigation in the context of climate change, where it means reducing the negative effects of global warming on the environment and human societies. Now, here's an important note. When using mitigation, make sure to distinguish it from justification. While justification implies that something is reasonable or excusable, mitigation implies a more active effort to minimize harm or consequences. Think of it like this. If someone asks you why you broke their vase, you might justify your actions by saying you were just trying to get out of the way. But if you ask for forgiveness and offer to pay for a new vase, that's an example of mitigation. In the context of addressing environmental concerns, I'd like to discuss some practical example sentences using the word mitigation. For instance, a formal setting, such as a government press conference, might use the sentence, "The administration has implemented measures to mitigate the effects of climate change, including investments in renewable energy and reforestation programs." Here, mitigation refers to the efforts made to reduce or minimize the impact of environmental degradation. On the other hand, in a casual conversation between friends, someone might say, "I think watching this documentary on pollution will really help us understand how important it is to mitigate our plastic usage." In this context, mitigation simply means taking steps to lessen the negative effects of something, like reducing one's reliance on single-use plastics. The tone is relaxed and conversational. In a business or academic setting, such as a report on environmental policies, a sentence might read, "Our company has incorporated strategies for mitigating the economic impact of natural disasters through sustainable practices and diversified investment portfolios." Here, mitigation refers to the proactive measures taken to reduce the risk and consequences associated with external factors. In this case, extreme weather events. The language is professional and analytical. So you want to know about something that helps reduce the negative effects of bad things that happen? Well, let me break it down for you. It's basically a way to minimize the harm caused by an action or situation that might have gone wrong. The main characteristic is that it's a proactive approach, like taking steps before a problem gets out of hand, rather than just reacting after something bad happens. You can think of it as a kind of damage control or problem prevention. It's related to other concepts like prevention, reduction, and minimization, which all aim to decrease the negative impact of something that might go wrong. When we use this approach, we're actually trying to turn potential problems into manageable situations, so it can be really helpful in high pressure or uncertain circumstances. Urbanization. 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 Let's talk about the word urbanization. So, urbanization is a noun, which means it refers to a thing or an idea. In common usage, urbanization refers to the process of people moving from rural areas to cities, often in search of better economic opportunities, education, and social services. This can lead to changes in population growth, housing, infrastructure, and even culture as cities become larger and more complex. A key point about urbanization is that it's not just a natural or inevitable process, but also one that has significant social, economic, and environmental implications. For instance, increased traffic congestion, air pollution, and the displacement of local communities can all be consequences of unchecked urbanization. Here are 3 example sentences using the word urbanization with varying contexts. In a recent speech, the mayor praised the city's rapid urbanization over the past decade, noting that it had brought in new businesses and job opportunities, but also highlighted the need for improved public transportation to accommodate the growing population. Context: a formal usage, likely from a government or public forum setting where the speaker is addressing a large audience. I'm so over this traffic, I swear. Every time I come into the city it's getting more congested because of urbanization and people moving in from the suburbs. Context: a casual conversation usage, where friends are chatting about their daily commute and frustrations with city living. According to our market research, there is a direct correlation between urbanization and an increase in demand for eco-friendly products, suggesting that companies catering to this demographic may see significant growth opportunities in the coming years. Context: a business or academic usage, likely from a marketing report or academic paper discussing trends and future prospects in consumer behavior. Note how each example sentence uses urbanization to convey different connotations and contexts. From a neutral description of population growth, speech, to a more personal and emotive tone, casual conversation, to a data-driven analysis, business, academic usage. So you want to learn about this big change that happens in cities? Okay. Imagine people moving from small towns and villages to big cities for work, education, or to start new businesses. As more and more people move to cities, they bring their skills, ideas, and traditions with them, which can be really exciting for the city. But it also means that the city has to adapt to fit all these new people, like building new homes, roads, and schools. This process of change helps create new jobs, opportunities, and experiences, but it can also lead to challenges like traffic jams, pollution, and a sense of being lost in the crowd. It's kind of like when you move to a new school or neighborhood, everything feels different, but you get used to it and make new friends. Biodiversity. 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 So, let's talk about the word biodiversity. It's a noun, specifically an abstract noun, which means it refers to a concept rather than a physical object. In common usage, biodiversity typically refers to the variety of different species of plants and animals that exist in a particular ecosystem or region, as well as the genetic variation within those species themselves. This can include everything from the many different types of trees found in a forest to the unique combinations of microorganisms present in a certain soil or body of water. What's interesting about biodiversity is that it's often used in scientific and environmental contexts. So you might hear experts talking about how human activities like deforestation or pollution can threaten biodiversity, or how conservation efforts are working to preserve it. The word itself was actually coined by scientists in the 1980s, making it a relatively modern addition to our vocabulary. Here are 3 practical example sentences using the word biodiversity, along with their respective contexts. Formal usage in her keynote speech. The renowned scientist emphasized the importance of preserving biodiversity in our natural habitats to maintain ecological balance and support the health of all species. Here, the speaker is addressing a professional gathering and wants to use precise and technical language to convey a sense of urgency around environmental conservation. Casual conversation usage: I'm so worried about the state of our local park's biodiversity. I've seen some amazing birds flying around, but we need more green spaces for them to thrive. In this example, a friend is chatting with another at a coffee shop and wants to express their concern in an informal and conversational tone. Business or academic usage: our company's sustainability initiative aims to assess the impact of our agricultural practices on local biodiversity and implement strategies to minimize any negative effects. Here, a business leader or researcher is presenting data and plans to stakeholders, using technical language to demonstrate their commitment to environmental responsibility. So you're trying to learn about this concept that describes all the different kinds of living things and their environments on our planet? Well, think of it like a big library with millions of books, each one representing a unique species. Like animals, plants, fungi, and even tiny microorganisms, the main characteristics are that these books in the library come in countless shapes, sizes, colors, and functions, and they all coexist together to create a complex system that supports life as we know it. Now, you might have heard of similar ideas like ecosystem services, which is basically what this concept provides: clean air and water, food, medicines, and even the fun experiences we get from nature. Think of it as the rich tapestry that keeps our planet healthy and thriving, with every thread representing a different species playing its unique role.